We now move on to the stories making headlines this time on front pages of the papers. I will start with the Nation newspaper this morning. And the big story here says, Delta killings. Troops recover decomposing hearts of killed soldiers. And killing of military personnel. National tragedy. They're talking from Toga there. Fleeing indigents. We have stayed 6 days without food. An ex-militant leader dissociates self from soldier killings. All right, terrorists kill village head, 20 others in Niger. And Obi loses grip on LP as party files petitions against NLC at Jero. And let's quickly move on to the masthead of the Nation newspaper this morning. And the big story there says, Tinubu to Nigerians buy homemade goods to sustain stronger Naira and insecurity. Defense headquarters declare Simon Ekpa 96 others wanted. Those are the big stories there on the front page of the Nation newspaper this morning. Olamide.
And on the Vanguard newspaper, federal government docks Miyetti Allah's leader, Bodijo, on a 3-count charge. And also on the federal government, fresh borrowings drive up Nigeria's public debt to 97.3 trillion naira. We also have the Tolu Elumelu Foundation unveiling about 1,104 beneficiaries of his 2024 program on his birthday. On this newspaper, 3 university students die in stampede over rice distribution. And the biggest story on the Vanguard today is the Okwama massacre, the untold stories. That's it on the Vanguard.
All right, now we'll move on to the Blueprint weekend. And the big story here says, Naira's improved showing at Forex. Buy made in Nigeria goods services to sustain gains. Tinubu tells Nigerians and says, expose those engaging in currency sharp practices. And that's the president of Nigeria there talking concerning the issue of buy made in Nigeria in the country. And also more stories on the Blueprint this morning. Nigeria's energy challenge, not beyond redemption. And also more stories. Ondo governorship polls. INEC urges early security preparations. And also scorching heat, epileptic power supply. How are you coping? Well, are you coping with this particular development? More stories there on the front page of the Blueprint this morning. I make a living, get respect out of writing. They're talking. And now 15 Sokoto, Sangaya, students abducted by terrorists again, regain freedom. Congratulations on that particular development. And Tinubu's commitment to border security, not rhetoric. Tunji Ojo, they're talking. More stories on the front page of the dailies this morning. Over to you, Olamide.
And on Saturday Telegraph, we also have federal government arraigns Miyetti Allah leader for creating ethnic military group. That was on the Vanguard also. And we have the president talking about those talking about budget padding don't know the arithmetic. That's quite interesting from the president. Then we also have Bishop Kuka. I had nothing against Buhari. He crossed the line. And a very interesting story this morning. I don't want to leave prison, an inmate says as businesses boom at Kirikiri prison. One of the biggest stories we have on the Telegraph this morning is Adebanjo Falaye Adams orders say for Nigeria to progress, the federal government must implement the CONFAB 2014 resolutions. This report says it will resolve 80% of our challenges. And what we practice in Nigeria is a unitary system of government. And it also says that past, present government officials fear loss of their privileges. We have other stories here on economy talking about Nigeria's total debt stock peaks at 97 trillion naira. And then in Nasarawa State, 2 university students die in a stampede. That's also on the Vanguard newspaper. And finally, gunmen kill village head, 20 others in Niger. That's it.
All right, now we'll move on to the Guardian newspaper this morning. And the big story says, cost of governance. Stop paying pensions to past governors, deputies. Obasanjo, they are talking concerning paying pensions to past governors and their deputies. And also more stories. Ijaw Youth fought former minister on Okuma killings. And Tinubu is creating pathways for businesses to flourish. Information minister there also saying something about the economy. And economic hardship, outrage as still Nasarawa Varsity students die in stampede over palliatives. All right, so very sad development there coming from Nasarawa State. And let's quickly move on to the masthead now. Okay, we need to move on quickly to other stories. Olamide?
Okay, very quickly, let's go to the Punch newspaper where the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, tells governors that they should follow Alex Oti's steps, scrap ex-governors, deputies' pensions. One of the biggest stories on this newspaper is that the president may announce a new minimum wage on Workers' Day. That's on the 1st of May. The committee's target is for the president to make the announcement on the 1st of May. And also labor spoils for war with governors, insist states have money from the subsidy removal. And then on censored story we have on this, it's quite sad. Mohbad's mother opens up on late son, ex-husband, and also on Naira Marley. And U.S. issues red alert as gunmen kill 40 in Moscow. That's about it on the Punch.
Okay, quickly, let's look at very interesting stories on the front page of the dailies this morning. Which one interests you? But for me, it is the president talking about buy made in Nigeria goods, services to sustain gains. The president there is talking to Nigerians about we need to patronize made in Nigeria goods. What do you make of this particular development? I understand that the president is saying we need to ensure the Naira gain more strength.
Of course, we need to buy us. If we have this, what
I like that fact. Buy us.
Buy us. When you do that, of course, we will be able to make more. Naira will have more value and all that. Then we also need, I think we need to address the issue of what Nigerians think mainly about Nigerian goods. If you go to the markets these days, most times you see this is Nigeria, this is foreign. And most Nigerians will go for the foreign goods. When we decide to buy our goods, it doesn't mean that it is below value, is below standard and all. If you give Nigerian goods a chance, you'll find out that some of these goods are quite better than even foreign goods. Very quickly, let's go to the platform times. Yeah. Pensions for ex-governors, daylight robbery, rascality. That's what Obasanjo is saying this morning. I'm sure we had that on the Punch also. Nigeria's public debt soars to 97 trillion naira, the DMO reports. And an exclusive on this newspaper says the police uncover foreigners' camp in Ogun, arrest Togolese, Cameroonians, Niger nationals. And also Bauchi governor pardons 96 inmates. Kiyamo imposes ban on government-funded foreign trips for aviation officials. And yeah, like we just discussed, that the president is saying that we should buy made in Nigeria goods. Nigeria goods to strengthen the Naira. That's like one of the solutions that we can provide for ourselves now. And Niger Republic reopens borders with Nigeria following ECOWAS sanctions lift. That's a great development. So one of the stories that interests me about this morning, well, apart from being a journalist, I'm a criminologist, so this kind of stories interest me. I do not want to leave prison, an inmate says, as business booms. Well, I do not know the kind of business he's going into. He's working on there, but if they can make use of the opportunities provided for them, I think it's a good one. For
what are those opportunities?
Well, so in the prisons, they have trainings for them. They provide some other facilities, mentoring opportunities, skills. They could have skills also. And some of them even go ahead to become doctors. You can achieve what you want even being in the prison. Now, I do not know what this inmate is talking about, but if it is
and that's why,
a legal business, I will say.
And that's why, as a journalist, you need to make your findings. So let's do that investigative journalism.
Before we support
All
that.
Right,